Hello, essential oil lovers, and welcome to today's discussion on gratitude. It's the day before Thanksgiving, and we're going to talk about gratitude and essential oils. A little bit of story about us. We've been using and teaching about essential oils for about 20 years, give or take.
Plus
I think
a little.
my first introduction to essential oils was when I was about 15 years old, and my mom had some oils, and a bunch of friends and I ran off with some heart song. That's a good oil for, we're going to talk about that one later on, actually. It's a good oil for depression. It's a good oil for just making things a little bit better. And then I really didn't think about much about essential oils, so I got off to college and ended up using Woman Wise one day for some menstrual cramps, and my cousin gave it to me, and I was like, wow, that stuff's amazing. I need some of that. She goes, well, I got it from your mom. So that's kind of,
The rest of the story is there was a dance going on that night. Valerie didn't think she was up to going, but she went and had a good time.
So I was supposed to be at work.
Maybe had a good time.
Anyway, yeah. So we've been using essential oils and teaching people how to use them and trying to share our love of essential oils for about 20 years. So we are part of a company called Butterfly Expressions, and we are a teaching company. We do have a preferred brand. We love the butterfly oils. Those are our babies, and that's what we talk about. But if you're using a different brand, or if you want to share this with friends who use a different brand, there's cross references available, and there's a lot of other good brands out there. We're not completely Butterfly exclusive. If you want to use a different brand, that's fine. You're welcome to come learn with us. Please comment, please share your knowledge, and that's what we're about. We're about teaching people and sharing what we know. So our next live is going to be on December 5th, and it will be at 10 o'clock again, and it will be on enthusiasm.
Oh,
So that'll be fun.
that will be interesting.
We're going to do 2 of these a month. So the other one in December is going to be on the flu. That one's going to be really fun, but we need a little bit more time to
Oh, and
put that
I
one together.
promise you that I will not stick to essential oils when I talk
No.
about the flu. There'll be herbals and homeopathics thrown in, whether they like it or not.
All things alternative. So gratitude. Gratitude has been described as a habit of the heart.
That's a good description, but I like the phrase an attitude of gratitude even more, because I have found that being grateful is a choice we make. And like any
Yep.
good habit that we get, we develop it. We start by counting our blessings and then realize that loving people and being grateful for what they do for us and for the things in our lives changes our lives in profound ways. So it's a choice.
Yep. Essential oils can help us with the feelings of gratitude, but gratitude, it is, like you said, it's a choice. But once you've made that choice, it becomes easier to make that choice in the future, to be happy, to be grateful. And so it's a habit. It's really something that we have to force ourselves to know every day until it becomes something that is just natural.
My husband asked me once on a particularly bad day, he said, why do you choose to be miserable? And, I thought about that. You run around grousing and complaining and moaning and groaning, and you're standing there in the middle of a warm home in a nice house, and you've got everything you need, and you've got clothes in your closet you haven't even torn the label off of yet. You got everything you need, and you're choosing to be miserable. I don't know why we do that, but I do know that an essential oil can help turn that attitude around.
So let's talk about why. Why can essential oils help us to turn that around, and how do they do it? That's my favorite.
Well, I don't know. Wish I could talk to you face to face. Do you even believe that essential oils change emotion and attitude? I'm hoping that the fact that you're here,
If you're watching this,
and it's on gratitude, indicates that you use your oils for more than pain relief or the clearing up of your sinuses or whatever. So I'm hoping you're already there. And when I originally sat down to write some info for this blog, I got, as I always do, kind of carried away in neuroscience and studies.
she definitely likes to write.
Oh, I write the longest blogs you'll ever see. But I really don't want to go there. I liked a little illustration. A while back, in a particularly stressful time of my life, I was really struggling. There were some things going on that were hard to take. And I would sit there at my computer and not be able to concentrate because the scenario was running in my mind, running. And then I would realize that I was feeling incredibly more calm. And I would realize that a particular employee, one or two or four,
couple,
had snuck in and stuck a diffuser behind my monitors where I didn't really see it, but I definitely smelled it. And she would pick an oil according to what she thought I most needed. And man, if I didn't know before how much an oil can change your mood and alter the way you feel about something, I learned it then. It was a great blessing in my life.
There's quite a few of them, and that can help with just that feeling of everybody's picking on me. And when you just need to be more grateful or need more gratitude in your life, there's quite a few. But one we really want to mention is Millennia, and it's because it's an oil of courage. And sometimes a lack of gratitude is just a inability to face whatever
we're focused
fear.
On what we're afraid of and what we have to do tomorrow.
Yeah, so Millennia is a great one, even though it's not technically a gratitude oil. It's a good one to start with, and it works for just about any situation. So
as grateful as I was for this sneaky little employee, why and how did these oils change my attitude? You know, how even to explain that without going a little crazy.
And I did tell everybody this one was going to be short, so we're going to.
I even put that in there, short. Okay,
we're going to hit this
pretty
quick.
Could start by talking about olfactory memories, the fact that something goes up your nose and into your olfactory membranes there, but sometimes that's a blessing and sometimes it's a curse. Yep. I've seen women begin to use essential oils and be triggered to hard events of their childhood. You know, something reminds. Sometimes even the smell of fresh bread or the smell of Christmas can be a stressor. So that's not always all of it that they have. So I think we'll talk about
the amygdala.
You have this little thing on top of your brain stem. Well, it's kind of more towards the middle, but anyway, there it is. It communicates with the thalamus. It communicates with other little organs in the brain. And it is one of those organs that is protected by the blood-brain barrier. So certain essential oils, those that contain sesquiterpenes, and
cross that blood-brain barrier.
There's a lot of them, and they cross that blood-brain barrier, and while they're there, they nourish and oxygenate, and they feed that amygdala. But let me explain the amygdala. I mean, there's a lot of things the amygdala
I like the
does.
nickname for it. It's called the solution center of the brain.
The solution center, what it does is when you present it with the problem, okay, I need a solution for this problem, it will go back through your memory banks and look for other things that were similar.
What did you do about this one? That's what you should do about this one.
And that way, it helps you find answers. But the strange little thing about the amygdala is it only answers the question you ask. So if you're approaching that situation with, woe is me, this was horrible the last time, and I really messed it up, and I didn't find any decent answers, the amygdala will go look for instances in your past where that is true. And you will get nothing helpful from the amygdala except discouragement.
But on the other hand, if your belief system was one of faith and one of gratitude, the last time this happened, this was hard, and this sucked, but I learned this, and I learned that, and I got this because of it, and I met this person, and it was, it was okay. And you're grateful for a few of the things that were part of that hardship or that trial.
It will go look for memories of those people. Yep. It will look for your successes. It will provide you a whole list of things you could do this time to make it work too.
So by using essential oils to help us to foster that attitude of gratitude, we're feeding that amygdala. We're giving it the nutrients that it needs in order to thrive and to do better. But we still have to choose to be happy. It's just an easier choice.
Well, and if you can choose to be happy when you're faced with a hard decision, it is only because you have developed a habit of it and an attitude of gratitude.
When it wasn't hard.
Otherwise, you're going to sink.
So, favorite oils for feeding the amygdala, for fostering gratitude and happiness.
Anything with sesquiterpenes in it. And I didn't bring the list, but
frankincense is well known for it.
But frankincense has 8% sesquiterpenes.
There are definitely higher ones.
So what that tells me is it's what frankincense is carrying with it into the amygdala.
The emotionals, the happy.
Sandalwood is nearly 90% sesquiterpenes, but it doesn't have much else to carry in there with it, does it?
No, but it smells good.
Sandalwood is amazing. It was my favorite oil
Okay, so we like blends, and we tend to focus pretty hard on blends. But if you were trying to pick a single and you weren't using a butterfly, and so none of these blends are not blends that frankincense would definitely be a wonderful choice. And lavender, just because it's so soothing.
If you want something cheaper that works almost as well as sandalwood, cedarwood is a good choice.
Cedarwood is a good
Excellent choice.
Especially if you like camping and that outdoor creates memories for you, that being out in the forest and the woods.
Put cedarwood with spruce, and you've got that sesquiterpene thing with the grounding to earth. I mean, there's fun ways that you can use oils.
All right, so the one we're going to start with, the blend, is Grateful Heart. And actually, that one this month, if you place an order over $200 on the site, butterflyexpressions.net, they'll send you one for free. So that's pretty cool. It's not a truly expensive oil, though, and it is amazing. We haven't had it. It's only been in their line for maybe 18 months. It's relatively new.
Grateful Heart?
Grateful Heart.
I don't know, the blend is relatively new. I can't remember. Gosh, I
think
hate
it's about
dates.
it might be 2
But
years.
the one thing about this one is that there's some oils that are relatively new to that.
Yeah,
There's some interesting oils in Grateful Heart. I'm trying to remember what.
it's Anthropogon.
Oh, that's Anthropogon, rhododendron. Oh,
Yep.
yes, from
That's the
Nepal,
one
as
that
I
you're-
recall. That's where I'm struggling to find.
That's the one that pulls you into that mood immediately of remembering blessings. It helps you to focus on good times and good people. And that's why Grateful Heart does that. It's that inclusion of that Anthropogon. It's
Grateful
amazing.
Heart did that before, but man, when Anthropogon came
It-
into the line, it was an amazing,
It really changed
amazing
it a
oil.
lot.
Focus on good times and the good in people. It
Yep.
is so easy to look back at our past and see only the negative.
An interesting thing about Anthropogon, though, is if you are one of those Oscar the Grouch type people who are
That's a
insistent
good description.
that no matter what, you're going to be grouchy and you're going to focus on the negative, Anthropogon will actually help you to do that. It will help you do it better.
I have seen a different blend containing Anthropogon do exactly that.
Yep.
That's a hard, yep. I feel that way about a lot of essential oils. If I'm insisting on a pity party, they'll help
They'll
me
give
throw
in and
one.
help you do it. So, but Grateful Heart is amazing, and it smells good. It's one of my favorite ones to diffuse for this particular thing. I like Heart Song a little better. I think
I love any oil
Probably
that
'cause it's my
contains
first one.
any wood essential oil.
uh,
Wood just,
that wouldn't be
it
Heart
grounds
Song.
you. It makes you feel protective of the rest of the world. Heart Song has rosewood in it, as I recall.
Yeah, but it's more of a floral.
It
Grateful
is,
Heart
yes.
would be more her type of a one, and Heart Song is
I
more
can't.
him.
I don't, florals,
I love florals and citrus
because of past
woods.
allergies. No, yeah. If I make a floral blend, it was because someone needed it, not because it was what I wanted.
Frankincense is also in Grateful Heart. So Grateful Heart, for people who like more of the woodsy, if you're a high floral person like me, you're going to like the Heart Song better, but Grateful Heart is amazing. And it, you can also kind of look at the emotionals. Is it that you need to remember the good times? Are you so focused on how hard life's been lately and you need to remember an earlier time? Grateful Heart's going to be more what you're looking. Heart Song is more of a depression today thing. So, all right, our next one is Faith.
Oh my.
And faith it's for hard times. It really is. It's for self-worth, and it helps us foster a desire to heal if we have been struggling with health problems for a long time.
Faith turns my thoughts toward gratitude for blessings.
Yeah.
I'm often amazed how worse when I was younger. Thank goodness. But to focus on what I don't have rather than what I do. And that's never a good way to live your life.
No.
You don't want to constantly be whining at your husband or your kids for what they don't do or what you don't have when you have so much. The aroma of faith makes me feel like I can focus on my own strengths instead of my shortcomings. I can accentuate the positive.
It makes you comfortable in your own skin. It makes you feel content. It reminds you of the faith that you have, and it's a good one.
I would say comfortable in your own skin after a time.
After a time.
Often when I first put on faith, it's like a list of my negative qualities for just a minute. But it's always that list with, but look how much better you're doing than you did, and look what you can do. It's a step forward. It's just a number of interesting emotions.
I want to talk just for a minute about Heart Song. Heart Song is the #1 blend for depression, and it is definitely one that I start diffusing right around the middle of January, just to combat those January blues. It seems like February is the #1 time of the year for suicide and depression, and I will start diffusing that one in January just to stem it off. I've got teenagers. I don't ever want to deal with that. Suicide has already hit me a little close to home a couple of times.
Too close to home.
And it's a hard one, and I I will fight that one till the day I die, because no one should ever have to go through that. No one should ever have to watch somebody close to them go through that. And Heart Song is absolutely an amazing one for depression, and it's one of my favorites. There's also a Christmas kit that they put out. It's called All Is Calm.
I pack Heart Song out like popcorn when someone has suffered a death or a loss in their family.
That's true. It's a good one for
Can
that.
you share All Is Calm thought?
So All Is
try to
Calm
hold the thought I have.
Contains 2 oils that are really good for depression, for diffusing, and that is frankincense and myrrh, which is interesting. We talked a little bit about frankincense. Myrrh is more of a grounding. It's a resin, and it's really hard one to diffuse, but it smells amazing. You can just take the lid off and smell it. You're really not going to diffuse it because it's a resin. It's so thick. But the third thing in that kit is gold. So gold, frankincense, and myrrh makes sense, right? But gold is a mineral, and it's taken in water with liquid, and it combats that seasonal depression so well. So if you know somebody suffering from depression, and just diffusing gratitude oils is not going to cut it, you might want to get them on some liquid gold mineral. It's cheap, it's simple, easy thing to do. Just a little bit can save a tragedy.
I've been working on a blog this last 10 days, I realized, on essential oils in the Bible,
the scriptures.
And it's amazing to me to realize the things frankincense and myrrh have been used for 3,000 years. An incredible thing. Before we go on, Heart Song is not just for deep depression. That February thing she talks about. I have a brother who was a college professor for many, many years, working in advanced mathematics. And so these were sharp students, bright kids, very driven, but high school and college level both. He never did anything with February but play calculator games. He said he'd never met a student yet who was focused in February. So they used February to goof off. He says if you let them do that, March, April, and May covered the rest of the semester very well.
So we've had a couple people say hi and shout out back to them, to Lisa and to Judy and to Dale and Kelly Graves. And Lisa just made a comment. She says the gold is amazing. All the minerals are on sale this month. And I had forgotten that, but that's true. They are. I have a hard time keeping track of all the sales.
And I don't even try, so there you are.
Yeah. Well, and in a live like this, when you finally watch this, it could be 6 months from now. It may or may not be on sale anymore. But if you're watching it live, they're on sale. So the next one we're going to talk about is a strange little one. It's called Quiet Essence.
Oh, that's a unique blend.
That is a very unique blend.
Some very interesting essential oils that are not commonly used. In fact, one of them that we won't talk about today, won't just mention for a minute, is rue.
Yeah.
There's no way I would use rue as a single oil.
No.
And it's a very tiny percentage of this blend, but it's essential. Some of the other things that are in there, valerian. Oh, I could tell you some herbal stories about valerian. It does. It smells like a dead mouse in a dirty sock.
But valerian is interesting because it's a nerve oil. I'm trying to work on a new project. I'm trying to formulate an oil a lotion for sleep. And one of the things I'm going to put in this is magnesium, because it absorbs through your skin really easily. I've heard this a couple times now recently, and I've been doing some research, and there's some lotions out there on the market that contain magnesium, and people swear that they're working really good. I've also heard that if you add valerian to the lotion, that makes it smell really bad, but it works really good.
Valerian is actually fairly easy to cover.
Well, that's the thing. So I've been trying to decide whether to use just straight valerian or whether I'm going to try to use the whole Quiet Essence blend itself. I think I'm going to try this a couple different ways, and I'm messing with this still. But if I did my research on valerian while I was playing around with this, and
I want to play too.
Wow, what an interesting. Yeah, they let me make salve last week in the kitchen, and I got my feet wet again. I forgot how much fun that was. It's been 20 years since I've done anything like that.
And I haven't.
It was way too much fun.
So valerian, it's an oil of understanding, forgiveness, and reconciliation. Yep. But just a word of warning, there's a tiny percentage of people, both with valerian and spikenard, who instead of being calmed are wound up by it. So, pay attention to that. Don't think it's just you. Okay?
It used to be me, and it's not anymore, but I used to get valerian would just, wow, it would.
The literature will tell you that it's only the fresh valerian, and of course, since oils are distilled the way they are, no, that was only the dried one. But some of the worst reactions I've seen were when we were harvesting it live. So, who knows? But
so some of the other things in Quiet Essence is lavender and sweet orange. It has rosewood. This makes it very, very powerful in calming the nerves. It is an oil that it speaks peace to your soul.
St. John's wort is also in there, and of course, that as an herb is well known for being a nervine. And the thing that strikes me about St. John's wort is that it's a very, very hardy plant. It's hard to kill a St. John's wort.
Mhm.
And I think that a plant, I kind of subscribe to that law of signatures a bit, that what a plant is able to survive is what it will help you survive. The
Yeah.
fact that this plant is so resilient and has the ability to stand firm and keep thriving no matter the circumstances, I believe is the underlying key to St. John's wort. And
Yeah.
of course, then you can go into all the scientific stuff about nerves and
So
meninges and all
quiet
those sort of
essence,
things.
though, is the one I diffuse when I just need more patience with myself, with others. It will help you be more patient with other
A
people's
little
mistakes.
compassion. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an oil of compassion. So yeah, that speaks to gratitude. But quiet essence is I just can't take it anymore.
And we didn't cover it here because this is gratitude, but quiet essence has an interesting list of physical properties that it has
does.
too. So.
Yeah, and you can look those up on butterflyexpressions.org if you're curious. So our next oil of gratitude is benediction, and that is an interesting oil, especially where gratitude is
When
concerned.
I first saw that on the list, I thought,
Why?
what on earth are we talking about benediction for as gratitude? So
If you're an energy worker or if you're a therapist and you have never tried benediction, you're missing a major boat. Benediction is one to keep you from picking up everybody else's energy.
So without going into detail, I want to tell you about my yesterday. Okay.
Oh dear.
First of all,
Oh.
my lawyer and my husband ticked me off by not giving me the proper information. And then I spent the morning in a circle of lawyers and other lawyerly type people.
Yes.
And since I had just the day before read that we were talking about benediction for gratitude, I said, okay, I'm going to wear
gonna try
benediction right here where I'm going. Protect me from the negative energies around me. I think it
She
worked.
had a hard situation yesterday.
And I came home.
I was
I
surprised.
came home quite proud of myself and quite grateful for the experience that and the things that we were learning and my husband and I pulling together. And
Yeah.
I don't know, I expected to come home wiped out and shaking and trembling, and I didn't. So
It is an oil when you're under stress.
angry, stressed, depressed, I'm going to be reaching, I think, for benediction.
And it's one to keep you from picking up other people's energy, which as an energy worker, a massage therapist, a foot zonist, it is so hard not to pick up other people's negative energy, to take it from them, but not to pick it up yourself.
You bet. You want to feel compassion for what they have. But one of the phrases in benediction, it said, can help us speak up and express ourselves more clearly without
whining.
blaming, whining. I banged the table a couple of times yesterday, but more for effect than anger. Anyway, what a blessing that was. And I really feel like it helped clear my thoughts, clear my mind. I was able to express what needed to be said.
Yeah.
And I thought, what a blessing that was. Who put benediction on a list of gratitude oils? That would be you.
No, I think it's off of something you wrote many, many years ago.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, these are coming right out of the oil book that I wrote many, many years ago.
It's just been a long time. Speaking of the oil book, so this is the oil book that she wrote, and this one's mine. It's got my name on it. But right in the very front of this book, there is a page that she wrote this a long time ago, but it's called Hope Renewed. And I don't really think we can talk about gratitude without reading you a little section of that. So I want to read that to you really quick. I'm going to quote you, Mom, while you're sitting right
Well,
here.
I was going to say, quote it from there. I kind of doctored it a little.
Oh, well, this is basically what it says then. It says, I have found that essential oils are many times more effective if used with gratitude, and especially gratitude to a loving creator who established this world in such a way that the things we need for balance and health in every aspect of our lives are everywhere around us. This need for gratitude has been brought home to me in a myriad of ways over the years. I don't believe that God requires our gratitude for his glory. The commandment to be grateful is an example of God explaining to us what is best for our own souls. If you don't do it already, try doing all that you do in this alternative healing world with a large measure of gratitude. And that pretty much tells you who my mom is right there.
Well, and my husband also,
Yep,
we have found over the years that in working with people that those that are grateful, and it's teenagers too, a little teenager that I'm foot zoning, if they get up and say, let me wash those dishes before I go, if they're grateful for the time and the effort of those that are working with, if they're grateful for every little piece of stuff that they learn, they're going to heal faster. It's just plain and simple as that they are.
We sleep better.
And then there's the scientific end. Studies have shown that regularly and deliberately expressing gratitude will improve our health and well-being. And I laughed. It said study participants who kept gratitude journals sleep better, exercised more, experienced increasing positive emotions, progressed toward personal goals more quickly, and helped others more often. Now, this is just one little phrase from that study, but what an amazing thing. And why do we have to keep using science to reinvent what we should know?
We already know
by common sense. So,
yep. It's interesting. When I started, our next live is going to be on enthusiasm, and so I started, kind of breaking that out into categories. And enthusiasm is going to be similar to gratitude, and it's in enthusiasm for the things that we've decided to do. Maybe the dreams we used to be excited about, we're still working towards those dreams, but maybe they're not so exciting anymore. And I think we're going to be coming right back around to gratitude and being grateful that we have those goals and those dreams, and that we have the ability to work towards them. And enthusiasm is going to be an interesting one, and I think it's going to play really well into gratitude. We may be discussing some of the same oils over again. I'm having a really fun time studying enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm. I remember being a few years ago just so burned out. I'd foot zoned for nearly 20 years. I thought I'd seen about all the sadness and heartache and illness I could handle, and I retook a foot zone class, and those young girls, so excited. One of them was 17, and she zoned me and nailed me emotionally in a way. But to see their enthusiasm, to have it brought home to me again, why we do what we do, was the most rejuvenating thing. I came home with enthusiasm. So I'm looking forward to that topic. I only learned about that topic just about an hour ago. So
yeah, enthusiasm into success, because she's focusing mostly on the flu one, which is in a month. So that'll be exciting too. But use oils, use them every day. Be grateful for them, and they will help you learn to live in gratitude. Enjoy Thanksgiving tomorrow with your families, and hopefully you don't have a ton of the baking to do. I know I've got a little bit that's got to be done this afternoon, so I'm off to make pies.
I should not admit this. She's going to go home make pies, and I'm going to go pull them out of the freezer and pop them in the oven.
That's because I have the best recipe for strawberry pie on the planet, and I'm going to go make strawberry pie.
I don't know what happened to me, because everything used to be homemade, from yogurt to cheese, but life moves on.
So happy oiling, and we will catch you in 2 weeks.